slip sliding away. You know the nearer your destination, the more you slip sliding away.
Greetings, Wildcat fans. I'm Bob.
I'm Larry. Welcome to week 3 of Catnips, and welcome to the bye week. The Cats are going to need the bye week. They need some time to prepare for the coming Big Ten season after losing their second game of the year to the Northern Illinois Huskies, 23-15 at Ryan Field.
Now, why don't we dispense with looking at highlights this week and just get into the commentary?
Don't look at it. Shut your eyes, Mary, and don't look at it no matter what happens.
So there's a lot of work to be done between now and the Big Ten opener. There were some areas, obviously a lot of the media, a lot of the fans have been commenting this past week on what happened, what went wrong against Northern Illinois. A couple things, we have to point out. The offensive line, we knew there would be some question marks with the O-line coming into this season, but obviously there's a lot of work to be done on the offensive line between now and the Big Ten opener. Trevor Siemian, who left the game toward the end of the game with what appeared to be a potentially serious injury, had been sacked 5 times. He was running for his life for a lot of the game.
Yes, Siemian was under siege, and on the other side of the ball, the Cats defense did a pretty good job of standing up to the Huskies offense in the first half. And remember, the Huskies have a very big and very experienced and very proficient offensive line. Nonetheless, the Cats' defense were able to hold their own in the first half and, in fact, held the Huskies scoreless. Huskies coach Rod Carey showed some impatience. He pulled starting quarterback Matt McIntosh, which is his quarterback 1A, right? And he inserted his quarterback 1C, Anthony Maddie. Maddie couldn't get the job done on the NU defense either, and so he pulled Maddie, and for the second half he started quarterback 1B, Drew Hare. Unfortunately for the Cats, Hare had the answer, and the Huskies' offense came to life. He hooked up for 2 really good touchdown passes to their receiver, Deron Brown. And, the Cats' defense can keep us in a lot of games, but unless the offense can deliver, it's going to be very hard for them to win.
Yeah, it's true. And, with the adjustments, as the game progressed, the Cat defense, which had actually a fairly good start in this game, they were pretty gassed by the end of the game. Again, it took its toll.
There were some positives that we both saw in the game. I think most significantly for me, on a personal level, Gene Yale, longtime administrator for the football program, who retired at the end of August, was the honorary captain, and it really gave me a bit of a tingle to see Gene Yale out there at midfield for the
jersey,
coin toss with the jersey, and that was the Yale on the back of that jersey, number 22, of course, suggestive of her son John, who played for the Cats.
Yeah. Now, with the offense, there were some bright spots, just like last week against Cal. True freshman Justin Jackson had a good game. He had 52 yards. He shows promise. Good, solid piece of the offense. Kyle Prater also had a nice game, 87 yards, nice touchdown reception. And Zach Oliver on one of the last drives of the game with the touchdown pass showed quite good potential.
Yeah, I mean, you really have to be impressed with Oliver. He came in absolutely stone cold in the middle of a 2-minute drill.
Please, sir, I want some more.
His first play at scrimmage is a pass to nowhere, but that's not the only pass to nowhere the Cats have thrown this year. Second play, the offensive line's not getting it done, and he takes off, and he gets 5 yards on a scramble. And on the third play, he's got a touchdown strike to Pierre Youngblood Airy. And Youngblood Airy made a great adjustment, showed fantastic ball awareness in making that catch. And then another rarity at Ryan Field, Cats line up for a 2-point play. Zach Oliver rolls out to his right, and he makes a strike to Cameron Dickerson, who catches the ball. And if you watch the replay, the ball was thrown low. Dickerson had to go down and get it, but it was thrown at a place where Dickerson and only Dickerson was going to be able to get it.
Yeah, there are flashes of greatness. We've got also some good red zone offense. When the Cats are able to make it to the red zone, they're 4 for 4 in the last 2 games to score. So there are some things to look at. There's some positives to take from this. If we can do a little bit more work in the offensive line, shore that up. Some of the fans have complained that Northwestern may be pulling back a little bit from its traditional spread offense. And maybe coming back to their roots, so to speak, and spreading things out again might also help.
Well, that touchdown drive in the third quarter, I mean, we ran an up-tempo offense, and it seemed to be working. By the way, that lead that we got off of that was the first lead the Cats have had in the 2014 season, and they were able to hold it for just under 4 minutes. There were some positives on special teams play. Long snapper Chris Fitzpatrick seemed to have picked up his game remarkably. And our punter, Chris Gradone, looked very good compared to week 1 against Cal. And, there were some other negatives that we were looking at. Gradone had 2 great punts that landed very close to the Huskies' goal line, and the Wildcats were unable to down those punts. They came back out as touchbacks. Special teams play is really important for field position, and that would have been just ideal field position had we been able to get at least one of those. I'm not sure what's going on with the punt return game, but it's quickly emerging as probably the most visible aspect of the many failures of the Wildcat team this year.
Well, you have to think that punt coverage, punt return, these are aspects that the team are going to be focused on, hopefully very focused on the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, something is clearly missing here in the special teams. The onside kick as well. Yeah. First of all, it was very, very well anticipated by the Huskies. The kick itself only went 9 yards. You can't even begin to recover the kick until it goes 10 yards by rule. It almost seemed like the Cats would have been better off with a pooch kick or even kicking the ball away and trying to play defense.
Isn't it peculiar, Charlie Brown, how some traditions just slowly fade away?
The fact that we did that onside kick almost suggested that at that point, Coach Fitzgerald didn't have confidence in his defense to stop the Huskies.
Yep. On the plus side, the onside kick, that may have been an executional issue with the punt coverage, punt return. This may be more of a strategy that just needs to be reassessed and reevaluated during the next couple of weeks.
Well, let's hope we see something different by the time we play our next game. Penalties were a major disappointment. The Cats were penalized 9 times for 93 yards, including an ejection. I don't know that we've seen an ejection of a Wildcat player on a penalty since.
It's been a while. Yeah, 4 personal fouls amongst those penalties. It certainly is not what we've come to expect from the Wildcats, and compared to how clean the level of play was and well executed, even if the performance itself left something to be desired against Cal, it seems to be a step back against NIU, and here's hoping that in the next 2 weeks we also have that cleaned up a little bit better as well.
And it seems that the offensive play calling is starting to come under more criticism. Even the Chicago Tribune getting into the act, and people have a sense that the Cats keep running the same plays that don't work over and over again, like they're trying to run them until they do, and they've gotten away from running what does work.
Right. One other kind of strange oddity to report with this game is that with the loss to NIU, Northwestern is now 1-3 in MAC makeup games, games where we've scheduled a MAC opponent to make up for another opponent that for various reasons has left the schedule. So again, just another strange part of NU history with this particular game.
Yeah, and I think the strangest of them all was the loss to an Urban Meyer coached Bowling Green team
after 9/11. All right, on to the next opponent. After the bye week, it will be FCS Western Illinois, the mighty Leathernecks, the only non-service school to have a military-related service nickname.
And this might not be as much of a cakewalk as the FCS label would imply.
Mm-hmm.
The Leathernecks went up to Camp Randall on Saturday, and for the first half, they gave Bucky kind of what he could handle. The Leathernecks defense came to stop the run, and stop the run they did, significantly holding Melvin Gordon to 38 yards on 17 carries. At halftime, the score was 9-3 Wisconsin. And coming out in the second half, the Badgers were forced to go to the air. Mm-hmm. So there was a steady diet of throwing on first down, play action throwing, and screen passes. And with that, the Badgers were able to rack up 28 unanswered points in the second half. With this game against Western Illinois, Northwestern will complete the Illinois State Compass Tour, which began back in 2008. And that's consisted of wins over Southern Illinois, Eastern Illinois, a loss to Northern Illinois, mm-hmm. and with that loss to Northern Illinois, Northwestern lost the opportunity to clinch a winning record in this tour. But with a win over Western Illinois, the Cats can claim that they've won the Illinois State Compass Tour.
So Western Illinois, their offense actually is pretty good. Northwestern needs to be ready. They've got a couple of playmakers in the backfield. The sophomore quarterback, Trenton Norville, actually had a fairly decent game against Wisconsin. Running back J.C. Baker, who is a senior and was second team All-Missouri Valley, also has the potential to really give Northwestern some headaches. Northwestern clearly had some trouble, especially later on, with NIU's ground game. And the Western Illinois ground game could also prove pretty troublesome. All right, is it time for potables this week?
I think it's time for potables.
What do we have this week?
This is genuine Macomb mash.
It sounds delightful.
There's a bang in every bottle.
Give it a whirl.
Shall we?
Sure.
I wish I'd removed my shoes before that one. Unlike last week's White Lightning, this is a little on the more refined, a little smoother side. The dog last week clearly had a bite to it. This particular bulldog is, although rough-hewn and crude in appearance, it's a little more tame. It's a little more on the survivable side for our cat team. So Willie doesn't need to fear quite as much from this particular one. I'm saying that Northwestern will bounce back at least for 1 week, 42-17 Cats.
Well, I'm finding that this is tangy, it's sharp, and it goes to your head just like that, just a few plays away from 8-4 mantra we keep hearing about the 2013 season. I'm feeling like this, doesn't go down without too much of a fight. That and the fact that this is, it kind of beckons for faraway glory. Like the shores of Tripoli or something like that. But while I expect this to go down with a bit of a fight, I think the Cats will survive a scare. I think they'll win this one 14-10, and I think Coach Fitz will get that all-elusive victory number 56.
I see an Illinois toll road massacre. But I fear that you might be right. This might be a little bit closer than the one I'm hopeful for.
Well, that's it for this week. And as always, go Cats.